it appears that we are live. Welcome everyone to our what is this again? Our daily success call, our power up, or whatever the title is for Wednesday, 21 July 2021. How's that for a date?
Oh, it's on YouTube.
107. How auspicious. John Lavinia here with you as always, and with many of my favorite people. Hey, Bambi, good to see you.
Hey,
There she
how
is.
are you?
Hooray. And we got Susan out there in the Northern Lights. We got Deborah and Rob. Good to see you again, Rob. Always a pleasure. DL is hiding behind his Bugatti. We got Crystal and Nosy and Jan, who's doing her crochet. And now I know the difference between knitting and crochet because Jan has enlightened me. Of course, Darla's there. Cecilia, good to see you. Been a few days, right? And Field. Hi, Field. Glad you're
Karen.
here.
I don't know why. It just was part of my last name on there.
Okay. That's kind of interesting how that happened.
I know.
Of course, Jayden's here. Gilbert, all the way from Uganda. Good to see you, Gilbert. And Tina, right next to each other there on the screen. There's Christy, Maritza, Michelle, Kathleen, and many more that are tuning in right now. Judith, glad to see you. All right, so what are we talking about today? I got an idea that I want to share with you all. I know some of you are actually waiting for a call back from me as well. So let me just do housekeeping real quick. It is total madness going on, which has been, I think, since probably everyone here in this room got started. It is just exponential growth here in the e-commerce world. And I see your animal there. Field. Yes, there's the cat. Okay. I'll go ahead and mute the mic. Oh, I just accidentally muted everyone. All right. Jan, you were saying? Oh,
I said only the tail.
Yeah, we just saw that
of
little
the
tail.
animal.
Speaking of tails, you guys want to see something that a friend of mine confronted yesterday, right here in the beautiful Grand Canyon State of Arizona. Let me grab you a picture. Yeah, here's a general picture I think you'll enjoy. Let me share my screen. How many of you got to play with one of these recently? Bam, there's that. Yeah, okay. So, and some of you have heard the diamondback rattlesnake story that I sometimes tell with my wife when we had first decided that we were going to move to Arizona from New Jersey. Right, and we got to meet our first diamondback. Pretty spectacular animal, by the way. Just don't step on it. Don't get too close. Yeah, interesting tidbit. Rattlesnakes are only in the Americas. They're unique to the Americas. And back when the colonies were forming into what's now known as the United States, and hopefully will continue to be known as such. Ben Franklin suggested the rattlesnake as like the national, animal. In fact, some people recall the Gadsden flag, "Don't tread on me," with the rattlesnake. So that's a uniquely American reptile. You don't find it anywhere else in the world. I know in Australia, you guys got black mambas and all kinds of interesting stuff, right? But yeah, we got rattlesnakes. They're kind of cool. But here's the tidbit. They can only strike half their length. So a 5-foot rattlesnake, 2.5 feet striking distance. That's it. Right. So
I'll remember that.
Yeah, remember that. Because I'll tell you what, if you're ever hiking, I know some of us are going to be getting together here in the desert Southwest here in a few months, right? We got an event coming up. And some of us are being invited to get together, right? And so if you happen to be hiking and you hear it, and you'll know it when you hear it. It's a blood curdling sound. Like, I don't care how brave, a big, strong lumberjack guy you are, when you hear the rattle, it is like hair stands straight up. So there's nothing like it in the world. And recordings don't do it justice. Kind of like visiting the Grand Canyon, right? You've all seen pictures of the Grand Canyon, probably. If not, you can Google it or whatever. Nice. Okay. Nothing like being there. There's no way you can capture that like on a camera. Anyway, there's my thoughts for today. All right. Meeting adjourned. We'll see you guys real soon. No, I've got more to say. Actually, you know who just called me on Skype? The person who confronted that rattlesnake last night.
Oh.
So let me tell them, because they're actually an administrator here, hosting DSC right now. Listen to this. You are welcome to join. we'll see what they react to that. So I butt dialed, she said. I butt dialed. So that wasn't even deliberate. Okay. So where were we? Yes, housekeeping. I've got a bunch of people who are expecting a call from me today. I'm going to be on it. It has just been nonstop action around here. So thank you for your patience, because we got people getting ready to like launch businesses and do it in a big way. Okay. And for all of you who are, really new here, keep on trucking, get with your accountability rep, do a step, in your accelerator program. And then we're going to be having some one-on-one meetings with people. All right. So that is here for you. Jan saying, what event? Jan, I will tell you when we get together live and in person. So I know you're getting scheduled for a business launch session, and we'll be talking about that. All right. And we definitely need to talk about that, Jan. So here's what was coming up for me today. I don't know how well this correlates to where your mindset is right now in terms of your business, but I was just thinking about the end of the year. So here we are in the third quarter, right? First month of the third quarter. It's already the 21st. And what happens at the end of the year? November, December, shopping, statistics go through the roof. Okay. People buying stuff that they don't need. Now they do that all year anyway. Okay. But they especially do it because now they're shopping for 15 different people. Right. And I need gifts and I don't want to spend more than, $30 or whatever. Wow. Great news, everyone. Coffee cups, t-shirts, stuff, right? Stuff. Yeah, people are going to be buying stuff. So what I was thinking of is, are you considering that? First of all, are you considering what your end of year is going to look like? And fortunately for all of you here, you've got a head start, right? Because this conversation happens every year. And sometimes, here come like newcomers 2 weeks before Black Friday or something. All right, you're not in the game. Okay. But you guys are all in the game. Well, you could be. So here's my consideration. Thinking with the end in mind, right? So here's the December sales statistics. How do we reverse engineer what leads up to that? So what this means for me when I look at how do I want to end the year, and if I just back that up a couple of quarters, which is present time, right? Then I could see here's all the stuff that I put together en route to this end of year, and looking at it like logarithmically, inclining, curve in terms of like production or, sales statistics. We could see, all right, a lot of the prep happens early and then a lot of the fruit comes later, on the tree. Okay. But all the prep we do right now, as ungratifying as it may be, is for that purpose. So, and we're all intelligent people, right? Arguably, there's a couple of you I wonder about, but, but we can, as intelligent people, we understand, there's a season for sowing and there's a season for reaping. You wouldn't tell any farmer that he was a failure or something, or a farmer wouldn't tell himself that he's a failure because he sowed the seeds yesterday and he's not eating corn tomorrow. Duh, right? So we know a little bit about deferred gratification. Because we're intelligent people, we can entertain such thoughts, right? By the way, it does require a level of intelligence to do that. If you look at some people on the planet right now, everything's instant gratification, right? They can't entertain the idea of, sowing and reaping and harvesting later. No, I want now. That's an interesting trap. Okay. So I think we've got a bit more, mentally able audience here. Okay, great. So working with what we know is that time is going to go on with or without our participation. All right, so we're going to participate. Okay, so that's good. So what can we get done now that will give us an unfair advantage? Unfair. That's how we play. We play to win. Unfair. All right. Unfair advantage so that when it is time for Mr. and Mrs. Public to cast caution to the wind and with abandon, throw it all on the card because I got to buy gifts for everybody I've ever met in planet Earth. And you know what? Oh, wow. They would like that coffee cup. Right. Okay. So what do we do to stack the deck in our favor? Obviously, anyone who's right now, in the training, which is everyone here, you're already stacking that deck, right? You're becoming more and more able, more and more competent. And the more competent you become, the faster you can go. Hence the logarithmically inclining, sales curve, right? But also thinking ahead, you can think not just in terms of the spike that's coming, and it is, okay, the retail spike, but also what happens after that. Because a lot of people, and this is I think tragic, a lot of people, because again, they think short term, they look at what can I do, let's say, just to make money now. And then once the event is over, right, they're back to, rat looking for cheese, trying to get the scraps off the corner or whatever. I think that if we get good at kind of foreseeing where we want to be, 90 days, 6 months from now, we can not only set ourselves up for those spikes, which will happen with or without us, but we can also prepare for what happens after that. Because guess what's going to happen after fourth quarter 2021? Can you guess? First quarter 2022, right? That's going to happen, assuming the world keeps turning and we're all still here. So knowing that, well, I'm probably going to need to, eat then too. So how do I stack the deck in my favor for that? There are people who have like a 5-year business plan. And usually this is like corporations and where there's, board members and committees and investment capital. And now there's, $20 million on the table. So we're all quite interested now, aren't we? With that 20 million we just kicked in. I'm rather interested all of a sudden, right? So let's go ahead and make some plans, because as the old saying goes, those who fail to plan are planning to fail. Well, I'm not planning to fail. There's 20 million bucks sitting there that, we didn't just invest for the sake of, entertainment or something. We want to profit from this. Can you consider your business in that way? I'm not saying you need to go ahead and have committee meetings, God forbid, or, a 5-year plan and defer gratification that long. But isn't that the whole point of being here with something much more accessible, where you can get on the road without a whole lot of complications and committee meetings and 10 million people's opinions about it and all that, right? You want to move at the speed of business. In fact, I think that was United Parcel Service. Wasn't that their tagline? Moving at the speed of business. When you see that turd brown truck show up, it's going at the speed of business. So, and they're going to deliver your stuff, by the way. So I'm glad they're moving at the speed of business. Are you? And is there a way to accelerate that? Yes. And again, with competence comes, certainty and speed and acceleration. But also the other consideration I have about this is whose competence? Whose? Just yours? How about you and your staff? How about you and the coaches? How about you and Rachel? Right? How about you and, right? And then start thinking of what combinations that you can put together to enforce these skyrocketing statistics, which will happen. And with full expectation, you do what? You act a bit more diligently in the preparatory, arrangements and the logistics and whatever you're putting in place now as you go through your course material and you're learning the basics of, how to do a design or whatever. Right. But again, you're stacking the deck in your favor. I guess the point that I'm making with all this is that the more you do, the more you yourself become competent and prepared, the more you will start to, more it will be revealed to you new combinations, new ways to create leverage, right? Leverage points and exponential increase, not just incremental increase. Right now, it seems like just little incremental wins. And hopefully you're acknowledging them, but they must add up to something profound. I just had a meeting with my mastermind group, and there was a guy who facilitates, some of our sessions. So it's not all me, right? And so my name's on the shingle, but we've got other talented people who know stuff, right? And this guy's one of them, and he's been hanging around with us for some years. And he was talking about how he has noticed that he's acquiring new combinations, new opportunities that he didn't even expect where they were coming from, and that didn't exist in his life even just a year ago. In his case, he was just tapped to be the voiceover artist for a series of TV stations. So that's he's the guy's a great vocalist, and he does other things as well. But he's like, I think I'm going to get into voiceover work. And I don't know how to go about doing that, but I spent 40 years singing, right? He's a brilliant vocalist. But I was thinking doing some voice. He's got one of these like James Earl Jones voices, or Earl Nightingale, one of those very rich, like Barry White. So that's the kind of voice that he has. And like 2 days later, somebody called him and said, I just got an idea. You could be the voice for this whole series of TV stations. He's like, okay, sign me up. I don't know how much money's in the deal, but the point is that he had an intention. And because he's been going down that path in one way or another, let's say music, okay, so that use your voice with that. But now here's a new combination that came up, which will be profitable. And it's something that he already has competence in that area. So he can just show up and do it. It's not like he needs to learn how to talk, right? Or to project his voice in a certain way, or how to enunciate words, right? So there's a saying that the more you practice, the luckier you get. The more you practice, the luckier you get. Well, he's had 40 years of practice, right? In the position that I'm in with the businesses that I run, I've been at this for decades, right? And so, yeah, we can see that there have been seed times and have been harvests, okay? And there will continue to be that, but we stay on a steady incline, right? And when we're aware and we're kind of, thinking ahead a little bit, we could see, if there's going to be a dip, we go ahead and we prepare for that, right? We could do additional promotion. We can do additional preparation in whatever way, depending on what business we're talking about, to ensure and even to enforce that statistics stay on an incline. Or if it's a known dip, like a seasonal sort of a thing, then there's other things that could be put in place, right, to reach our goals. Really, that's the bottom line with everyone here. Assuming you have goals, you've got a reason for showing up, that you actually achieve this stuff. We don't get together here each day, or you don't get into your course material each day, or contact your accountability rep each day, or all the activities that we do. We don't do that stuff because we're not expecting to reach our goals, right? We do that with expectancy. We do that with intent. So here's, I guess, the punchline for all this, and then I'll stop talking. What is it that you intend? It's December 2021. There's your stats. Look at them. All right, what do you intend? What do you intend to see? And I know some of that may be vague for you because the path hasn't been revealed. Like my friend who just landed the gig with the voiceover deal. He didn't know where that was coming from. So you don't know all the different combinations. Okay, more will be revealed as you walk down the path. But the point is that you are walking down the path with full intent. Intent of what? What is that end of year statistic, production, profit, right? What does that look like? Because I'll tell you what, without that definiteness of purpose, and Missy was quoting Napoleon Hill earlier, right? But without that definiteness of purpose, you get what? You get to be vague. Okay, whatever that produces, I don't know. You get to be vague. Man who shoots at nothing is sure to hit it, right? So what are you shooting at here? And what that's also going to do for you is, now that you've got definiteness of purpose, right? And actually a decision that you will not be denied, okay? By whatever means, you will not be denied. That's the end result, okay? And now we can start reverse engineering. Oh, I've got gaps here. I'm not sure what the combinations are here. That's okay. Do what you know. Do what you know. You're planning to win, right? All right, so do what you know how to do. Keep going through your training, and then you will find things to fill in the gaps and to accelerate that whole process. And I would argue to exceed those intentions. I mean, that's okay, right? If you say, you know what, by the end of this year, I will have earned arbitrarily $100,000 or whatever your number is, right? Okay, fine. Well, what if you earn 120? Is that okay? Sure. What if you earn 89? It's better than not earning 89, right? So we can miss targets. We can exceed them. We can shoot high, shoot low. Okay. But the point is, without the target, you're not even going to make the 89, right? Unless you win the lottery or something. And good luck with that, right? So if you're expecting something to happen to you, or the gods to rain down upon you, that, good fortune. I've never considered myself lucky. I've worked, and as the saying, I think we already brought up, the more I practice, the luckier I become, right? Okay, so do what you want with that. But yeah, successful people are lucky. Just ask any failure. So we're not looking for, something to happen to us, right? We're going to make it happen. But we're going to do that consciously, with conscious intention. And then more is revealed. Why? Because I intend that it's going to be revealed. But not if we don't have a goal in mind. Not if we're not, thinking from the end, right? With full expectancy and intention, and then saying, well, what can I do right now to enforce that is the guaranteed future outcome? And there's going to be gaps, once again, where I don't know. Okay, that's fine. But what do you know? Or if you did know, what would it be? Right? And then you could start to experiment with things and start seeking, wisdom in new places, and these new combinations come to being. I hope this doesn't sound esoteric. Okay, that's not my intention. Esoteric means, understandable only by a select few. All right, so that's not my intention here. And I realized when I used the word esoteric that might be esoteric, because a lot of people don't use that word these days. So now you know what that word means. But the idea here that all of you are actually predisposed for success just by virtue of the fact that you're here at this time, present time, right now, in this environment, in this conversation, in this training, you have an unfair advantage. If you exploit it, right? Please exploit it, right? No apologies. Half measures avail us nothing. Full friggin' throttle, full intention, definiteness of purpose, definiteness of decision. And for those of you who I'm going to be meeting with here on our business launch session, which is a really big deal, I'm going to show you how to accelerate that whole thing like with a friggin' nuclear bomb. All right, so that's where we're going with all this. I love you guys. It's 37 minutes past the hour, so let me stop talking. Nora's got to go. Oh, Nora. Oh, we're going to miss you. Okay, we'll see you soon. Feel free to come on out. Missy, you've got the floor, and anybody else, go ahead and put your hands up or unmute or whatever we're doing here. Hey, Missy.
Well, I just want to say that definiteness of purpose, as our friend Napoleon Hill says, you have to have that. But if you don't have an obsessive, almost burning desire, you will not succeed. Just with a purpose, you have to be willing and expect to meet failure and to ride the wave. It's not a tsunami, it's a wave. It's going to come and it's going to go, but you have to have both. You can't just have a purpose and goal set. It has to be inside of you, that you want it more than anything, and those failures will not overcome you. You will overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that to remind myself. Because when you were talking, I got a little scared about quarters and things. My husband is the business person, and I was like, wait a minute, this is making me feel nauseous for me. So
Okay.
I have definite a purpose. I am, I do have burning desire, and I just have to keep that in front of me, the carrot and the will to overcome, and the belief, more than the will, the belief that I will overcome. And everybody here will too, if they
Sure.
practice that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And yeah, the book that you were just quoting, Think and Grow Rich, has 15 chapters, not one, right? So yeah, you're definitely right. There's more to it than just the purpose. Okay, but without the purpose, you got no shot. You understand that, right? First chapter of that book, and for anyone who hasn't read that book, you will at some point. I pretty much guarantee it. I mean, if you want to succeed. But the first chapter, thoughts are things. So that's kind of a preamble. All right. Second chapter, which is the first principle, desire. And that's where he gets into definiteness of desire, definiteness of decision, definiteness of purpose, right? The word definiteness keeps coming up. And he does say in that book that there's a secret in the book, and anyone who finds a secret will never submit to failure again. So exactly what Missy was just talking about. Yeah, there's failures or blunders or whatever, right? So non-optimal results en route to the guaranteed future outcome. Okay. So there's some drama that keeps it interesting, I suppose, because if it was an effortless victory, That's kind of boring, right? But there's right? There's 13 more chapters, right? So it wasn't just, all right, chapter 2 and the book's over. So thank you, Missy. So glad you're here, my friend. Let's bring Susan and then Alana and then Martha. Hey, Susan, how are you, my friend? Susan. Let's get Susan to unmute her microphone. Susan Layton. Hello, Susan.
Hi.
Here she is.
I was just saying that I agree with what you're saying, that you've got to be prepared. And I put a little comment in to say that what I do is I get an Excel sheet. I have the months across the top. I have all the events that go on throughout the year. And then I put in when I expect to do the work for that particular event.
Brilliant.
And it's the only way I get to be prepared. So
Right.
that's so if I've got if I look at my Excel sheet, we have a thing called Guy Fawkes bonfire night, you know, when we put somebody on the bonfire, which we like to do here in Britain. And that's in November, so I would start to do the process in September and October, if not earlier. So all the time I'm prepared to what I'm going to be making for what. So
Right.
it just gives me a bit more focus, that's all.
Right. Well, focus, which we could also say is definiteness, right? Because
Yes.
I could tell you in my world, Susan, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah. Calendars are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs, you know, watching the
No.
grass grow. I mean, we get busy with life. I mean, you know, so we gotta have some priorities and make them enough of a priority that we actually see them on our calendar, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Susan. So glad you're here. That's Susan, everyone. She's awesome. All right. We got let's see, Alana's here, and then Martha, and then Gilbert and Cecilia. Hey, Alana, what's going on with you?
I am, yay, I'm here. I was just going to say, with regard to what Missy, a follow-up to what Missy was saying, and again, follow up to what you're saying. I haven't worked with a calendar for years because I haven't had an office job, but when I worked in an office, I had my calendar, my to-dos. And now I'm in the position where it's just day to day. But Missy, that's as we start to be consistent, I believe in what we're doing every day for setting up these campaigns, basically setting up the mugs, it's going to set us, it's going to give us a routine that we can fall into. That's the hardest thing. It's the consistency, but it'll come with just doing it daily. And have my thing now is just, I write my little step by step. And so I can follow that. I'll have to only follow that probably for about three or four like times of doing it. And then it'll become automatic. I'll know exactly where to click to, you know, Gear Bubble or Explosion or whatever the creative, you know, side thing, do the upload into Gear Bubble, do the upload into Amazon and Etsy, whatever platforms, get that to be a consistent thing where I just know automatically. And then as we start making sales, see, me too, I know my mind is going to be blown with my first sale. I'm suddenly going to be in the, oh my God, what do I do now? But then it's, you know, it's brand new. But from there, again, it's going to be the same as for creating the mug, right? We're going to have a step by step. So then we know after about 3 times of doing it, we're going to know automatically what to do. We're going to fall into that pattern. And so we're going to be able to grow like what John, something was that John was saying, I can't even quote him verbatim right now, but again, it comes, we're going to be ready for that when it comes, because again, we're going to have that period of unknowingness where it's like, oh, what do I do now, right? And then somebody will help us through and we'll get into that pattern, we'll establish that pattern, and then we'll be that much further ahead than we were yesterday or 2 days ago. And so we're developing these patterns. So we're going to, as our business grows, we're going to grow too. And so it's like, we don't have to be afraid of what we don't know now, because all of a sudden we're going to fall into that pattern where we do know. There is some certainty of, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. And so I can't plan like 3 months ahead right now. I'm just in the day-to-day right now, okay? But 3 months from now, guess what? I'll be in maybe the week ahead of time or the month ahead of time. That's the same. You guys are going to do the same thing too. As our success grows, we will grow with it. We will be able to handle it. But don't think there. Just deal with what we have to do now. Establish those small patterns that we can repeat consistently, and we will grow. And then it's going to be a thing where we think it, just like John's friend, the voiceover friend. And all of us see it comes with doing the daily visualizations, repeating your mantras, whatever. It does become a part of you. It becomes a part of us. I've seen this happen to me over the past month. And from one of the coach that I'm following, who I absolutely love, what I noticed is that it's like a 90-day pattern. Get that in your head. It takes like 90 days to establish this pattern. It's not an overnight thing. It takes about 90 days. The success I've had in the past, retraining people's brains, is 4 months actually. 4 months of doing it consistently, of feeding your brain with this material. It takes about 4 months. And then then you have the pattern set for your life, which is great, because then there is no more resistance. At that point, it becomes normalized in your routine. And your routine by that time has changed. You are not going to be the same person you were 4 months ago. Like, you'll see, but it's just a matter of doing it consistently every single day. And making the effort. And I haven't been perfect, okay? I've had some changes happening in my life in the past couple of weeks, and I miss maybe a day or two, but no more than that. Because my mind now automatically goes into the positive stuff, into the, I know what my pattern is. I know what makes me feel good. Get into your what ifing. See your goals. Okay, and you don't even have to set a timeline. You have to feel it. And it becomes a part of you. And then you start living it, and then you're falling into this pattern automatically, and it's a success pattern. It's not what you were living before. It's a success pattern. And you'll see it'll come with the sales. You're going to grow. Like, I'm so freaking pumped about this. Like, this is, whoo!
That's awesome. Congratulations. And Alana, you just assisted Missy. She's not nauseous anymore. So thank you. That was a nice dose of not only reality, but also expectation, right? So beautiful stuff, Alana. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right. And we've got, oh, by the way, guys, I got a hard stop at the top of the hour. We got 5 hands up, so we'll go ahead and share the time. Let's get Martha out here next, and then Cecilia, then Michelle. Hey, Martha, come on out.
Hi. I got in here later today because I was at a different meeting, but I got in here. Anyway, I really am enjoying these sessions so far. And something that came into my mind that Missy was saying, I actually go a little bit further and think of taking the word failure out of my vocabulary. For me, what I find is if I approach it that something doesn't work or go according to my plan, I'm thinking, okay, this is some way that I can change direction. I can learn another lesson of how to do it right. And, maybe it's going to be trial and error, not just once, might be twice, it might be 10 times, but I'm going to keep doing it until I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to find out how to make it work. Now that's on a business level. On a personal level, I also change my vocabulary and look at, obstacles or devastating incidents. I can't seem to think of the right word right now, but I think you get the idea of what I mean. I turn that around and think, okay, this is another challenge for me. This is another lesson that I can learn today on how to make things better. And I'm going to use an example of my husband, who I was diagnosed with dementia in October 2021, and that came on quite suddenly. It was a shock, yes. I was, sleep deprived, yes. I had to turn around and accept that things weren't going to be the same as they were. But then I started to change direction and think, okay, what are my lessons that I can learn from this? How am I going to grow and become a better person? Take me to that point of where I'm becoming that person I'm meant to be in life. And so, again, it's a challenge. And I've learned how, as an example, how to avoid triggers with my husband, how I can learn to love and appreciate him more in different ways, how we can make new memories in different ways, and it is working. Like, I find him to be quite happy. He'll have his little moments, but we all do, like if you fall off a horse, so to speak, it's going to hurt. So, like different things happen that way for him. He'll go into a little frustration, but I'd learn how to, get into his head and think of, well, maybe this is what's going on. This is how he's feeling. I can't quite relate it exactly what's going on, but I can at least find some kind of meeting ground. But anyway, what I'm saying here is it's really tough sometimes to learn the lessons. But you know what? In the end, here's another thing that I find is it will help me to serve other people better. It will help me to be empathetic towards other people in their circumstances. I'm actually working on some courses and ideas for courses. And one of the courses actually helping people to adjust to the beginning stages of dementia with their spouses, and what kind of things that I, learned through trial and error, as an example. So to me, these lessons are a part of life. Like, you're not going to be able to avoid any challenges. You're not going to avoid doing everything perfect. That's not it. It's okay. It's fine. That's great. Actually, like I say, bring it on. Just like storms in life, we need it for growth. We won't have vegetables, we won't have flowers, plants, whatever, unless we have some storms, the rain. We won't have water, for that matter. We won't have life. So I'm thinking of it whenever, whether it's in the business mode or in the personal mode, what can I learn from this? This is how I'm supposed to grow. If I don't have these, different things happening, I'm not going to learn. That's my 2 cents again.
Thank you, Martha. Beautiful stuff. In fact, I'm seeing here in the chat there's actually some technologies or methods and things that also can be used to address that. I don't personally have experience with it. Apparently, Alana does. So, who we just heard from just before you spoke. So maybe you guys get together. By the way, this room is open all day. So if anybody wants to use the room, it's your room. It's we're broadcasting to YouTube right now, but the rest of the time it's just, whatever, open room. So let's see. We do have 4 more hands up. I want to get to everyone. I'm going to tell my other meeting that I'm going to be a couple minutes late, but if we could share the time, that would be awesome, because we got Cecilia coming out next, then Michael, then Latonya, then Michelle. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say that Martha, check out the chat. It looks like there's a lot of support there, and thank you for bringing that up, because I'm sure a lot of us are going through that, or have a family member going through that. And so that's very important, and it was a good thing to bring up. Well, I just want to say thank you for the ladies who went before me and said your bit because that very informative. I'm very grateful for you all here. And it's my birthday, but I finally got that.
Yay!
I finally got my business up. Like, yeah, and I got the business account going, but I had a little setback, had a couple of setbacks, and one being that my Outlook email, I lost a lot of the emails, and so this is like I need to get that back. I don't know how, but anyway, I'll be correcting that, and I'm on Facebook now. So after a year and a half of not being there, I lost all my contacts, but I'm gaining them slowly. So I just want to say, God bless everybody and good luck with everything. And this is a great group, and I'm happy for that. Okay, I'll pass it on.
Awesome. So happy birthday, Cecilia. All right, let's hear it for Cecilia. Woo! I see it in the chat. You're getting lots of love. We got my buddy Michael, and then Latonia, and then I thought I saw Michelle. Hey, Michael, what's going on, brother?
Hey, doing good, John. Thanks so much for having me on here. I tried to connect yesterday, but the internet wasn't strong enough. Can you hear me?
Where's your microphone, Michael? Sounds like you're across the room from it.
Oh, I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Maybe it's just fan noise or something. Go ahead. I hear you. Yes.
Hold on. Is that... Trying to make it so you can hear better. Is that okay?
We'll work with it. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fan noise or something going on. It's kind of your voice is coming up and down with like whatever noise gate you're running on it. All right. So
I'm sorry about that. Basically, what I want to say is a simple goal setting technique that I use is the night before I write down 3 things I need to do the next day, and possibly 5. If I can't get any of those done the next day, it doesn't matter. You don't get to beat yourself up. Just accept the fact that you've written them down, and you'll get to them when you get to them, and everything's going to work out for the best.
Beautiful. So you're giving yourself a directive, but also you're not bludgeoning yourself for not being a superhero. Assuming you've had integrity, right? You did what you as much as you could, right? So okay, fantastic, Michael. Great.
You can expand it down the road to include, instead of the daily, then it's the weekly, then the monthly, that kind of thing, so that you can expand it as you need. Once you get comfortable with these goals, that become your good habits.
Right. You know what Michael's reminding me of? A saying that we tend to overestimate what we can do in 90 days, but underestimate what we can do in 5 years. That's interesting. So maybe consider that. And then, if we have these bigger, expectations of ourselves for like a longer period of time, perhaps we can chunk that down and actually get more done in 90 days. So, and as I think it was Alana was saying, 90-day kind of thing, or 4 months, right? Some people say you can develop a habit in as little as 21 days. I think that's kind of thin. Anyway, for what it's worth, thank you, Michael. Good insights there. Let's go to Latonia, and then I think Michelle is going to speak, although I don't see your hand up anymore. Latonia.
Hello, John. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
good to see you.
I wanted to suggest a read, if we're okay to do that. It's a book called Write It Down, Make It Happen. It's by Henriette Ann Clouser. And I actually read this book some years ago. I still refer to it. And with the information that everyone was giving as far as writing down things and putting things on calendars. And in this book, it actually explains several stories of people who have written things down, actually made a vision, wrote out there and scripted out what they wanted to happen. And it was a bit woo-woo because everything came true for these people, down to the fact that this woman described her husband, where she would meet him, and how he looked, and it happened for her. So writing it down, making it happen, I would suggest reading that book because it gives you a whole lot of information on how to do that and how and put your feeling into your writing and writing out your vision for what you're doing. So that's my contribution.
Thank you, Latonia. Yeah, so we're back to definiteness, right? So now it's written, now it's true, right? Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Latonia. Michelle, are you here? I think Michelle vanished off of the platform here. Michelle, last call for Michelle. Right. I don't see Michelle. We love you, Michelle. Hopefully we'll get to hear from you tomorrow. So let's go ahead and wrap up with that. Look at this, exactly at the top of the hour. Bam, right now, it just hit the top of the hour. So I will see you all tomorrow. We'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Yes.
I
Yes.
have a quick question.
Yes.
You said that this room is open. What I noticed yesterday or anytime when I'm in one of these rooms, it closes as soon as you close off the meeting. So how do we get back into the room, or how do we keep the room? I don't know how to be in the room to keep it when it is open.
Just
I don't
show
know
up,
if that makes
click
sense.
the link, and it opens the room. That's it.
Okay, so just go in as if there's a meeting, but just
Yeah.
because it says waiting for admission, so to speak, is what I always get when I come into the room.
Okay. Well, I'm never the first one in the room because I start this at 1:15 the hour because I've got other meetings right before this. But every time I show up, there's people in here, kibitzing and whatever, right? So that was without me. I didn't open the room. So
Okay.
that
Okay, I'll
apparently-
experiment with it. Thank
All right,
you.
cool. Yeah, and there has to be someone else in the room. Cynthia just put it in the chat. So if it's just Martha and only Martha, you get to sit there and wait for an audience or something, right?
Okay.
But if it's more than one person, and that could be an interesting kind of like, a lottery. Like who knows? Maybe you get to meet somebody. Who knows, right? That doesn't mean you guys sit around and like Q&A with each other all day, right? Get some work done too.
Right.
But just letting you know the room's open. All right.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I got to roll. I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Except for those I'm
you.
talking to today.